Hi everyone. Okay, so today what I wanted to do was to take a broad uh, brush, paint a big picture, so to speak, in the sense that some years ago I studied a book called Bitsonomics by Brian Domain, and I really went on from there to write a book called Data Wars, and of course I've been pushing the book, which is part of the reason for this series, on this little show, and it is a little show. It hasn't had a huge footprint or anything, and that's been deliberate because I've been reading my way into a new subject, which is to do with the chip. Now then, I'm starting to get as I say, a big picture view of things, and it goes roughly like this: that you could have, and I think I've always said Domain. I thought Domain was really spot on with his idea of Bitsonomics, because it struck me that Jeff Bezos had actually pioneered a way of business development, and that coincided with the way that the whole internet worked, and also it coincided with various geopolitical things. So, for example, it developed in the States, Amazon developed in the US, partly because of the possibilities for it, with various loopholes existing in legislation for competition and so forth and so on. And I've written extensively about that. But at the same time, you had a geopolitical context. We have a geopolitical context now, which goes like this: that in the US it's one picture, in Europe it's completely another picture, with a lot more regulation and so forth regarding outfits like Amazon. And then you've got the rest of the world, which is a mix. Okay, and generally it's wide open, it's free. The rest of the world is wide open without any kind of regulation, although I think in Australia and New Zealand you're looking at steps in the sort of direction that Europe has gone. If you look at what I'm calling Jensenomics, I think I'm the first one to use the word. I might not be. What we have there with our man Jensen running NVIDIA is the idea that the chip rules, and that I think has got a correctness to it. That just as I think that there was a way that Bezos was working with his flywheel, and Bezos, of course, was to do with basically two things. One was cost, and one was supply. That he was winding the cost down of anything in particular that he could, and winding the delivery process up, so that people got things faster and they got them cheaper. Now, if we look at what's going on with Jensenomics, you're talking about chips that can do more and more and more, and also control of the chip market. You're also talking about an interesting geopolitical situation with the US and Taiwan, and I've spent some time on that. Partly that's to do with the idea that the Taiwanese government is very, very encouraging of the fabs, of the laboratories, which cost a lot of money, and partly because it's been an ideal partnership for the US with the fabs in Taiwan, and the control of the fabs, so to speak, such as NVIDIA, and outfits like NVIDIA, being based in the USA. Now then, that's highly specific geopolitically, I think, and I've been putting up some videos about what's going on in China, and how questionable, and I don't mean in any kind of negative way questionable, but questionable in a practical sense, the relationship between the US and Taiwan is, given the fact that you have, with Huawei and various other outfits in China, a completely different picture and a highly competitive situation emerging. Okay, so I just want to leave it there today, that I want to now keep comparing Bitsonomics with Jensenomics. And I also want to point out, just as I close, that there are significant spins to all this. One spin is AWS, the output that Amazon owns with respect to the cloud, and that, I think, further differentiates Amazon I think that we can also look at what's going on with Amazon and chip development, and I've talked about that as well, or control of outfits that produce chips and so on. So I wanted to close with that. I just think that from now on, I'm now at a level, I think, having spent 6 or so weeks grinding my way through, and thanks for watching these shows, these funny little shows, because I've really tried to grind my way through a knowledge base, or to develop a knowledge base on NVIDIA and the use of chips. But I think now we can start to move to some kind of bigger picture. I'm not sure that it's that it's 100% yet, but there you go.